Hello, my name is Danny and I work for Informatica Global Support. This video KB article talks about JMF APIs. The agenda of this video KB would be: what is JMF, what is it used for, a demo of a sample program, and execution of the sample program. JMF stands for Java Mapping Framework and is part of Informatica Developer Platform. It is used by customers or users who have Java developers or development backgrounds to create Powercenter specific metadata objects. It has APIs for most of the activities that developers can do, from the UI clients like Designer, Workflow Manager, Monitor, and the Repository Manager. So typically, the developer can create source, targets, mapping, sessions, workflows, and perform repository functions like importing and exporting the XML created for the artifacts that are used in Powercenter. And JMF may not be best suited for complex mappings. Typically, as prerequisite for Gmf development, you require an IDE, and one such IDE that could be possibly used is Eclipse. You also need some of the jars based on which the development for the JMF based application would be done, and those jars are bundled in the IDP platform. Some of the jars that are used are seen here. Say for example, JMX XML binding.jar, JMF jaxb.jar, jmf.jar, and the likes. You also would want to configure a runtime, and in this example it is JRE1.6. So the example has 1.6 version being used. In order to understand how JMF APIs are used, we would take a look at a small example. And the example that I would prefer is joiner. So in this example, we have a joiner created in a mapping, and the name of the class that generates the joiner transformation in the mapping is like this. It extends a class called base class, and some of the helper functions like creating of sources and targets is handled in the base Java class. So if you go here and search for create order source, you could possibly get that in and see how the source for the mapping is created. So you can see all the fields going there, and there is this call called new source. So through this API or through this class, a source object could be created into which a list of fields have been given. So the sources are created in the joiner class, and then it goes to a point where a helper helper.join function is called. Now this is where the joiner transformations creation happens, and it relies on some of the other helper classes which I would want to which I would elaborate on. So if you see here, helper is of type transform helper, and so this class is used to construct a joiner transformation. So for transform helper class, I go here, and if I go there, I see there are some join functions that are called, and from here, if you go and see, we see there is this class called joiner transformation, which takes a set of lists and the join condition through which it could possibly create a joiner transformation. And this is the joiner transformation class where you can set the input set for the master and for the detail, and send the join condition string which could go into the joiner transformation. In this example, the joiner is after an aggregate transformation, and it goes on. If you see here, there is this helper through which you can create the aggregate, and then we have a joiner being created, and then again with the help of helper there's an expression that is created, and all this happens after the create targets and the create source functions are called, and the sources and the respective targets are created. So we can have the code written as seen here, and compile the program. It gets compiled, and we run it, and the output of this program is nothing but an XML which could be imported into Powercenter repository, and it gets created here. So I go here, so this is the mapping that it created, and I would go and now import this mapping into the repository. And you can see that we have a joiner created, and the aggregator and the expression in between the sources and the targets. So this was a small demo of how Jmf could be used to create programs that could possibly generate Powercenter specific mappings. I hope the video gives you some clue as to how Jmf is used, and we would love to hear from you and your feedback. You can send them to supportvideos@informatica.com or tweet them at https:/twitter.com/infosupport. Thank you.